1460 WVOX.
Stay tuned now for the Racing for Heroes radio show with host Brett Morash on 1460 WVOX.
All right, Racing Heroes fans, it is Brett Morash talking to you today from 1460 AM WVOX. We're worldwide on WVX.com, and we're streaming Facebook Live today. But we are so excited today for a interesting show. Our first guest, who I think is on the line, is Mike Evock. He's the founder of Racing for Heroes, but what he also does is he runs a program with Racing for Heroes Tactical, or RFH Tactical Mobility, which does security training, and they have a course coming up called INTAC. We'll be talking about that. But interestingly, one of the things we'll be talking about today is personal security. And I live up here in New Rochelle, and in the past 48 hours, there has been 2 shootings in New Rochelle during broad daylight. 2 weeks ago, there was a gun battle where people got injured and they were using long rifles. And just yesterday up in White Plains, about 5 miles away, someone got shot and died. So today's show really is to talk about what you can do as a private citizen in order to protect yourself when presented with that sort of violence. So without further ado, Mike, are you on the line?
How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike. I heard you on the Poconos today.
Yeah, I'm along Interstate 80 right now. Yep, just pulled over to get some diesel.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, well, that your truck drinks diesel a lot, so I know you're always on the road. So listen, you were Army Special Forces, and I think our guests have heard you before, and obviously, that sort of background lends itself to this. But you run RFH Tactical Mobility, where you provide training. So I know you have a course coming up called INTAC. Can you tell our listeners about that?
Yeah, the INTAC course is essentially, the original name was Individual Terrorist Awareness Course. It was designed for families going overseas to how to identify threats and keep their family safe overseas when there's a high threat. So with the current situation in the United States, we put this thing together and we added a few things to it and tweaked it and made it a little more modern for what the current situation is in the world. And we're going to run a nice course. It'll be a 5-day training cycle. It will cover everything from where to pick a seat on an airplane, where to get a hotel, where your hotel room should be located in the hotel, what rooms you want to try to get on, what floor, considerations for that, safety in the hotel room, around your house, just individual protective measures around your house, how to search your vehicle to look for tracking devices or bombs. We'll do a shoot where we can show them what stops bullets and what doesn't stop bullets. And we use different platforms, everything from shotgun, AK-47, M4 carbine, pistols, revolvers, different calibers, so they can see what bullets do to a car, what they do to block walls, what they do to, just your regular interior walls of the house, and what will protect you and won't protect you.
Yeah, for sure.
So people don't get that false sense of security, during an active shooter situation. If you don't have a weapon, you need to move away from it, but you need to move from cover to cover being something that stops bullets.
Yeah, so let's break this up though, Mike. So the course though itself, right, is really designed like in segments to kind of teach you each of those individual pieces, right? I think that we talked on the phone a little earlier, and this morning on Dennis and Tani's show, I talked about the events we had here in even New Rochelle where bullets were flying and someone got shot in the foot that wasn't even part of the initial gun battle. It was just like some random person. So what can you do if you're walking around New Rochelle and you're just kind of going about your day and suddenly you come across something like this?
Well, you got to seek cover. You got to move to cover. You got to move to in behind some concrete, in behind the hard points on a vehicle, which will show them the B pillars, the C pillars, in front of the engine block, in different places they can move to. And then move from hard point to hard point, because you have to keep yourself collected. When bullets start flying, you can't just go wailing off, screaming, and flailing your hands in the air, which a lot of people do. You need to, click. I need to go to a safe area. Now, where's my next safe area? Time and distance from the weapon system. So it's all about time and distance. The further away, especially with a pistol, the further away you got, less chance of you getting hit.
Yeah, and I think that's true, though, too, Mike, right? Is that one of the things that, when you just talking about this, is that and I don't want this to sound selfish, but if other people are acting crazy and like throwing their hands in the air and stuff, and you're being smart about it, you're less likely to get shot because they're taking sort of the bullets for you, right?
Exactly. It's like when there's a shark in the water, you don't have to be the fastest swimmer, just don't be the slowest. And that's, and that's what we teach everybody. It's not so much how to shoot people or anything like that. It's about being a hard target, because bad people pick soft targets. They don't go to a hard target. Basically, you're switched on, you're paying attention. They're not going to target you. They're going to go move on to the soft target.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think that goes kind of like in daily life, where if you have your head buried in your phone and you're walking along, you're more likely to be subject to criminal intent than someone who has their head on a swivel and is constantly kind of looking around at what's going on.
Absolutely. And that's what, our surveillance and counter surveillance techniques we teach everybody is, what everybody doesn't understand is everybody's been surveilled in their life, whether it was a crazy ex-boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever, to whoever, was somebody. Everybody in this planet's been followed by somebody before, and they need to know how to identify that and actions what to do. It's not like in the movies where you just drive real fast in your car and run through red lights and all that. You don't do that. It's just the opposite, and that's what needs to be taught. Know what to do, how to gather information, report to the authorities, and that's the things we'll teach them.
Well, that's great. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, though, like this course is actually exportable. Like you could have a short version or a tailored version, like even up here in New York.
Yes, we could run, we can run just a 1-day course, or we can run a 3-day course, or, anything like that. We can do several different things. A little bit of information is better than none at all. Knowing a little bit, being situational awareness, is better than none at all. And it helps your family. It's all about protecting your family and teaching your kids. You're not teaching that the world's bad, but looking for things that might be an indicator of a bad situation going on and getting away from it.
Well, that's a good one, Mike. As you know, I have kids that are in the high school age bracket. What would be something that I could tell Henry and Julia that they should be doing?
You need to tell them how to be observant. Observe the things that are out there. We got a certain client that we teach that goes overseas, and they have their children with them. We teach the little kids because the kids are honest and they report. They're going. If you tell them, hey, look out on this hillside. If you see something that you see, a guy with a gun or whatever, let mom and dad know. If you see a guy that's eyeballing the vehicle and he's following us, strike one, okay, it's just a coincidence. He's going to the same place we are.
Mm-hmm.
Strike two, it's a coincidence maybe, but strike three, you see that guy 3 times in the same day and he's behind you or, keeping an eye on you, you're being surveilled.
Huh. And so if you do see that, though, like let's say you're driving along, Mike, and I have the same car following me, what would be something that like I, as like a regular person, might be able to do? Like, do I drive to like the police station or something like that, or is that tip my hand?
Well, no, you can tip. You don't have to, one, don't kind of let them know you're there. 2, you don't pick up pace or anything like that. You bore them and you collect intel on them. So you're looking in your mirror occasionally, getting identification of the individual in the vehicle, identification of the vehicle, getting what I tell people is wheels, tires, make and model. License plate can be changed in a matter of a heartbeat. Sometimes the car can be changed. But, like a human being, when you're getting on them, you look at their watch, look at their shoes, because they'll change their hat, shirt and stuff, things like that. But typically people don't change their shoes or their watch or, things like that. So it's just
interesting.
A bunch of little things to look at, because I can pop into a latrine anywhere and quickly change my shorts, my hat and everything, So just being switched on and knowing what's going on and being able to report to somebody what they're looking for. The more information you can give the authorities, of dates, locations, and when we give a complete report format of what you want to look for, the more you can give them, the better chance of them catching them before they do some harm to somebody.
Right, which I think is, at the end of the day, the important thing is that, you're creating yourself as a hard target because there's so many other soft targets out there for them to pick from.
Yes, exactly. You just got to make yourself a hard target, bottom line. And there's numerous things we teach throughout the course, on how to do that.
Yeah, because I remember taking the ATFP courses when I was still in uniform, and even there, it was stuff that I think we use today, like just simple things like putting the do not disturb sign on your door handle when you leave your hotel room, just to make sure that people don't go in there.
Leaving your TV on in your hotel room, making sure your room's clean and organized. when you zip your suitcase and your bags, make sure the zipper's zipped up center, because the average guy, if they're going through your bags or a maid going through your bags, they're going to unzip it and go one-sided. And they're just going to, it won't go back to the center usually. Just make sure everything's organized. Make sure your computer's lined up on the edges. Put a business card on it. When you're in your hotel room, make sure the secure lock, not just the deadbolt, but the slide lock is locked. I can break into a hotel room. If you lock the deadbolt, it opens with the handle inside 90% of the time.
Yeah, right.
I can take a steel rod and be in a hotel room in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it's not as much of a it's more of a deterrent than anything else, right? I mean, because it's not going to.
Right. Well, the deadbolt is, but that secure, like that little latch that goes over or the chain it hooks on. Make sure you do that physical latch. That way, when you're in there, they can't open it up. And it may not be criminal intent. It may be something as much as stop an embarrassment because the hotel manager downstairs messed up and give you a card to a room that somebody's already in. You know what I'm saying? Because that's happened to me. I opened a room and I went right in. The lady was in there. I was like, oh, sorry about that. They told me to come here, kind of embarrassing moment for her, but right. I'm like, okay, whatever. Here's $5 for the show and I'm out, type thing.
Hopefully that doesn't happen that often.
Right, exactly.
All right. Hey, Mike, well, listen, I think that we have our website, which has information about this, but if someone wants to go look on the web and see what RFH Tactical does so that they can possibly even get an exported course, where would I go?
You just go to www.rfhtacticalmobility.com. That's rfhtacticalmobility.com. You can go on there. The INTAC course is on there under training, and just click on the INTAC. You'll say INTC INTAC course, and then go on there and you can register on that site if you're interested in attending the course. That's great.
It's great. And they can email you too, right? Just to ask for.
Yeah, they can ask questions, ask all the questions you want. If an organization has people that go overseas and they want to set something up for the corporation, just a 3-day event, we have suitcases. We'll travel. We can do it in a conference room, and leave the physical stuff out and just give the briefings, or we can get the physical stuff of the driving, the shooting, whatever anybody wants to do. We can tailor the course to whatever they need.
Oh, for sure. And I think that, at the end of the day, I mean, that's really what we want to have.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as long as you're, being informed and knowing what to look for is 90% of the battle.
Gotcha. And Mike, we're getting kind of the end of your segment, but I know you drive the 773 cover. We're going to have Tim McCreadie on right next to talk about the number 39 version.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I think Tim is ready on the line, Mike. But listen, thanks so much, and I will talk to you again soon, obviously.
All right, brother. Say hi to Tim for me.
I will. And with that, we have Tim McCreadie on the line. Driving the number 39 car in the Lucas Oil late model dirt series. Tim, how are you doing?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing great. And are you down in, is it Alabama or Mississippi right now?
Magnolia, Mississippi this weekend.
Okay. And this is like a big race, right? It's like the Sweet Magnolia race or something like that.
Yeah, it's a 3-day event, a couple of preliminary nights to set the field for Saturday for a big $15,000 to win show. Kind of like how the Memorial Day weekend, this is the Clash of the Mag weekend. So we have a bunch of them here throughout this season where as it goes on, it starts to ramp up and pay bigger money and bigger events. So it's very exciting for the whole reason.
Well, and hopefully the weather is okay. I think you guys are possibly in the line for that tropical storm number 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I know it sounds weird, but I try not to look at the weather too much. We have so many races, and if I start looking at the weather and thinking we're going to rain out, you just puts a damper on trying to travel. Because for us, for the team, it's about 8.5 hours from the shop to get out here. For me, it's like 18 hours. So it's
right.
I try not to do too much of that because if I looked at the weather all the time, we might never race. So I'm hoping it holds off and we can get all the events in and have a good showing for Mega Plumbing and our whole Racing for Heroes team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I used to work for an old naval aviator, and he used to say never cancel operations based on forecast weather. Was kind of his rule of thumb. And I still stand by that today, because even when we were out in Missouri a few weeks ago, that weather was looking pretty dicey and you still got to race.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like anything. It could split, it could mess you, it could could do a lot of things. So, we're here. We got one night in last night. Tonight will be another preliminary night where we can kind of try some things to get better, and then it'll set the field for Saturday. We started off well with a top three. We were in third last night, so we're in good shape. We just need a little bit more, and hopefully we can like I said, we're here to finish first. That's what we're trying to do, and race as hard as we can.
Oh yeah, well, even out in Missouri, you had a first, I think a fourth, and a seventh place. And today, you're the top of the points series.
Yeah, I mean, we've been very consistent. I'd like a little more, obviously, speed to win some of the shorter races. We kind of tailored our program the last few years to the longer shows because they pay the most. And so when we do testing, we test how good are you at the end of a 15-lap run, and usually you try to spread the time back. If you fire fast and then you die or slow down, you just try to manage that as far as your setups. And it's been good for us to win some of these bigger shows that'll pay upwards of $50,000+. So it's tough because it's hard to jump back in and figure out how to go fast for only a 25-lapper.
Sure.
Hopefully we can start balancing it better and get some more wins. But it's been a great year for us so far. Nothing to complain about, and it's been a lot of fun out here today.
Well, and the season's just starting. Well, I guess midway, right? Because you still are racing all the way, I think, until November, based on when I was looking at the schedule.
It's as the years have gone by in our division, you really could race all year long if you wanted to. So we take some time off. Our tour for the Lucas Oil Series will end mid-October, and then obviously there's some other races we'll hit after that, and depending on sponsorship where they want us to go, or we're down with our owners like the race. So it's kind of it's a very professional team that I get to drive for, where we treat it like a family too, trying to do stuff that makes everybody happy. So it's exciting. Like I said, I've been in a lot of rides, and this one here is it's just so relaxing to drive, and they're doing all kinds of stuff for like I said, like veterans and racing for heroes and stuff that I never was able to be a part of, and it's pretty neat to see because it resonates with everybody, and it just picks everybody's spirits up when we can try to do. It's small for us for what we do, but if it helps a few people and if people are excited, we're all for it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And obviously with you having a Racing for Heroes out on the front of your car, we're getting the exposure and really raising the profile of what Racing for Heroes does. In fact, I don't know if you know this, last week's guests were from the Unlimited class in hydroplane racing. And the reason they called us was because they saw you driving around the track on Memorial Day.
Oh, that's pretty cool. No, I didn't know that. Like I said, it's an amazing thing that you guys do, and we definitely we need as much positivity as we can get today. It's getting harder to do everything in the world, it seems like. So if we can all be positive and take a quick breath and just try to lift each other up a little bit. It goes a lot farther than cutting each other down. I've been on both sides. Cutting people down is only fun for the maybe 2 seconds that it comes out of your mouth.
That's right.
You write it down. It's the lifting up goes on forever, and that's what we should all be doing.
Well, that's one thing I thought was really interesting, watching the pits and how all the teams interacted when we were in Missouri. And I guess I just haven't been around the pits that much, or at least that intimately. And it seemed like everyone was helping each other out as best they could. I mean, it was competition. Obviously, you're at the top of that game, but like people were like genuinely nice to each other. Which I thought was amazing.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the money only spreads so far when it comes to purses and how everybody gets paid. And we'd all love to have like a cup team or an IndyCar team where you have 10, 15 guys on race day and you can rely on each other. But I think everybody knows that deep down inside, we're all in this together. It's maybe not the perfect situation for each race team, and also we're riding up down the road together. And the last thing you want to do is leave a partner or a friend or a teammate or even a guy that you maybe don't like as much stranded on the side of the highway. So I think we kind of operate that way when it comes to cars having flat tires or pit stops when guys are in need. They just band together, and like I said, that's what makes it for me rewarding, is to know that you're out there racing as hard as you can. At the end of the day, you leave that out on the track. It's a competitive sport, but also you're there to lend a hand to somebody if they're in trouble, just because they've done it for me too. So like I said, it just keeps going round and round, which is nice and cool for me.
And you pay it forward. And you were talking about the team owners, the Bradshires. I did want to do a little shout for them because they are some of the kindest people out there. I know Don's dad is not doing well, and so he's certainly in my prayers.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did pass yesterday morning. So it's been tough. It's been a tough year and a half, I think, on a lot of us. Unfortunately, as we get older, this stuff kind of happens, and even when you think you're prepared for it, you never are. Yeah, definitely keep Donald in your prayers and Tina, and they are the nicest people that I've ever driven for. They come to the races and they kind of hang back. They don't ever seem to be like in a bad spot when you're trying to work on stuff. And then Donald obviously raced long enough that he can jump in if you need him to. And like I said, I haven't had one bad thing at all. And I know it sounds like, you say things like that because you have to, and it's not really. I say what I feel. I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
These guys have been for me. I don't know where I would be right now if they didn't come along and pick me up, because my other deal was great when I had it, but it was kind of starting to fizzle out a little bit. And this is something I might be able to do for several more years and hopefully stay on top. And it's directly because of those two.
Well, and listen, I think that you guys make an amazing team, and like I said, they're so kind, and even you, Tim, and I mean this in all honesty. I mean, you were very nice. You came up to our booth and you signed shirts for the fans. One of my favorite memories when we had that family that was standing up to the side, I'm like, "You guys big Tim McCreadie fans?" And they were like, "Yeah, they're all right. He's all right."
I know. Listen, the least I could do is anything you guys need me to do. I get to. For my last probably 25 years of my life, I've been able to drive all over the country and race these cars and earn a living and support my family. And it's really, when you take a step back and look at it, it's kind of neat because not a lot of people get to do that. You lose focus of that when you're struggling and you're trying to race. But Donald and Tina are definitely great for me for keeping us positive and thinking, hey. Look what you're driving in, this beautiful hauler, and look what you get to do.
Yep.
If you want to stop and eat dinner at 5 or 10 or whatever, if your hours are a little off, it's really we're our own bosses, and it could be way worse. So this is just I'm just a lucky person to be able to do this,
great.
And I thank everybody that's helped me along the way.
All right, 2 final questions. One, if I want to learn more about what you're doing or get some merchandise or something like that, where do I go? And the second question is, how do I watch you on TV or something else or online?
Yeah, so all the Lucas Oil races are on the MAV TV Plus app, and then I think maybe 10 races a year, maybe 15 of them are going to be live on MAV TV. So if you go to MAV TV Plus, I believe it is, it'll point you in the right direction to watch all of our races live, whether it's streaming over whatever device you want to watch them on. And then also for t-shirts and stuff for our team, ASIRacewear.com is this place. We don't really have them off of TimMcCreadie.com or TMAC39.com, I believe is another one you can get them off of. But if you go to ASIRacewear.com, it's everything you need. And we appreciate it. Everything that people buy, we put it, towards you getting around and other things and family and everything else, man. Like I said, takes all of it to go around.
Well, my daughter stole my Tim McCreadie 39 Grace zip-up sweatshirt already, so I don't think I'll ever see that back.
We're going to have to get you another one.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's the one with the, not only your car, but it says something about New York on it, which is why I think she was particularly interested in it, because, now she's a toughie walking around high school with it.
Yes.
Anyway, hey, Tim, real quick question, because the guys in the sound booth were asking me, what was your first car you ever drove?
Oh my God. I just had a little pickup truck. I believe it or not, I raced go-karts, when I was little, and then I raced go-karts till I was early 20s. So I didn't start racing bigger cars till like 23 years old. So I had a 4-cylinder 2-wheel drive pickup in New York.
Upstate too, right?
In Watertown, New York. So I spent sometimes, that's probably why I'm better with dirt than I was at pavement, because I spent a lot of times getting into the ditches and getting into the snowbanks.
I was going to say, would you put like sand in the back?
I wish I had a better story, but
no, listen, I had a 77 Mercury Cougar with the 351 Windsor was my first car. And that,
I wish I had something like that.
yeah, it was a land yacht. In fact, Mike Evock was giving me a hard time. He's like, "Man, you should have kept that car." I'm like, "My brother drove it into a lake when I was out underway on a ship, and by the time I got back, it was trashed." So yeah, just one of those things. But Tim, listen, thanks. We're getting to the last minute of the show, so I just want to thank you again. Good luck, and looking forward to seeing you stay at the top of the point standings.
Definitely. Thanks again for having me. And like I said, keep lifting people up. That's what we need to do.
You bet. You bet. Thanks again, Tim. And for all of our Racing for Heroes listeners, as we kind of get to the end of the show here, as I said again, please, if you're interested in this type of training that RFH Tactical Mobility does, they're our sponsor for Racing for Heroes radio show. If you didn't know that, please look at their websites, rfhtacticalmobility.com. Check out what they do. See if it might be something that if you are a business owner and you do want to have a nice training event for your folks, that's the place to go take a look. If anything, it'll make your people feel safer and more secure. And hopefully I'll be having a couple days talking to Dennis and Tawny coming up about some of the things that our folks can do as well. So with that, also please check out Racing for Heroes website, www.racingforheroes.org. And with that, we will kick over to the real Doug Lane and a little further down the road, ending the show out. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.
A little farther down the road.
Thanks, guys.
One day, no, I got a dream to chase, and it just won't wait. It's just a little